Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. I got Jake here in my living room / kitchen area. He's visiting from Chicago. We're here in Arizona, so thanks for visiting me, Jake. I appreciate it. This has been fun. We just finished watching Das Boot from 1981, at least the original theatrical cut, by Wolfgang Petersen.
Director's cut.
Yeah, we watched,
the theatrical cut was released in 81.
Exactly. But we just watched the director's cut, which is 3.5 hours, basically. So that was quite an undertaking, but it is an awesome movie. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Granted, I was passing out a little bit here and there just because it's been a long weekend entertaining Jake here. Not that you're high maintenance or anything, Jake.
Golf killed us.
Golf killed us in the Arizona heat. So, yeah, here we are, and I'm super excited to talk about this movie. There's a lot of trivia I found that I really like, and yeah, I mean, I loved it. What'd you think about it, Jake?
Yeah, I thought for 3.5 hours, it's incredibly well paced. A lot of the character-driven moments are really well complemented by the action sequences, and neither one are too long. There's a lot of good balance between the two, and that's what a good movie like this should really be striving to do.
Yeah, especially for 3.5 hours. Yeah, I mean, this movie has a lot of acclaim. It was nominated for 6 Oscars at the time. That's the highest number of Oscar nominations for a foreign language film, which is very impressive. It was nominated for Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Sound, Best Film Editing, and Best Effects / Sound Effects Editing. Very well deserved. It's crazy that it didn't get a single win because this movie is impeccably shot. The sound design is incredible, and yeah, I mean, it's so well done. I can't believe it wasn't nominated for best set decoration / set design, because
both of us, the first time you see the submarine, we were both like, holy shit, this is so well made.
It just stands out, especially for a movie that was originally made in technically I think it was made in 79 and released in 81, but still very impressive. Speaking of 79, this is number 79 on IMDb's top 250 list, so it is highly rated. It is highly regarded. It is all in German, so it is subtitled, but you can watch an English dub, which I don't know if our Blu-ray had it, but I read that all the actors knew how to speak English, and they were able to dub their own lines in English, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, I bought this movie on Blu-ray. I could only really find the director's cut. The original theatrical cut is kind of difficult to find. It's not really streaming anywhere. It's also pretty expensive to find a cut, a DVD of it. So I was just like, fuck it, Jake. You're here. We're going to relax on the couch and watch this movie and see how it goes. And I mean, I thought it was great.
I do think its watchability is very high, even if you do watch it in German. There's not that much dialogue.
No.
This is very much a action driven movie. Which is nice for someone like me who doesn't like to read subtitles that often. But yeah, I'd actually like to read the screenplay and see what how things are actually described and set up in there, because I'm sure most of it is probably descriptions of action and very little dialogue to match, what we actually saw in the film.
Yeah, I wonder what screenplay you could find, because I mean, this thing has been a theatrical cut, a mini-series, a director's cut. I know you had some good trivia on that. Do you wanna share that?
Yeah. So the original cut was released in 1981. It's 149 minutes, which is pretty long, to begin with. The movie was partially funded by West German television broadcast networks, and a lot of extra footage was shot than what was released in the theatrical cut. So they actually created 2 different miniseries. The first was 6 50-minute episodes broadcast by the BBC in 1984. And then in 1985, 3 100-minute episode version was broadcast in West Germany. From there, in 1997, Peterson edited a new theatrical release, which was 208 minutes, that he titled the Director's Cut, which is the one that we watched. And what Wikipedia says is that the Director's Cut kind of combined all the extra footage that was in the miniseries, which was mainly the like character-driven arcs, with the action sequences of the original theatrical cut to make this like super cut. It was also remixed in 5.1 audio and contained a lot of new sound effects added. Which, both of us were blown away by the sound in this movie. And I don't think either of us believe that it should have lost for sound in the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Especially losing to
E.T.
which is just stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't know what the theatrical cut sounded like, so it's a little bit of a false comparison, but that's all right. But yeah, if you're gonna watch this, highly recommend watching with surround sound. Is like through the whole movie, there's like water dropping all around you, and you can hear like the creaks of the boat and the destroyers, like, you know, like above you. It's really, really well done. Just awesome sound design on the director's cut, at least.
Yeah, I thought there were like leaks in my apartment or my condo here because of all the water dripping. I kept like looking over my shoulder, like, is that in here or is that in the movie? Because my upstairs neighbor just had plumbing work done, so I was like a little concerned. This movie, the original miniseries, was actually criticized in Germany for portraying World War II Germans sympathetically. When the film opened at the Los Angeles Los Angeles Film Festival, no one was sure how a former enemy nation would react, especially in a city with a large Jewish population. The audience applauded at the opening caption, saying 30,000 of 40,000 Germans who went to war in submarines did not come back. They applauded to that. But at the end of the film, the audience gave it a standing ovation. So pretty crazy. I mean, it's like the movie really humanizes and sympathizes with the Germans, in my opinion, which is a huge contrast to the other movies we've been watching, especially Come and See. Mm-hmm. We definitely picked some awesome war movies different war movies for this month. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying that.
It was nice to get a opposing perspective, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
To the other, the first two are, the first we watched was very American-centric. We got Come and See, which is Russian-centric. Empire of the Sun was British-centric in China, which is, a pretty cool perspective. Then we got the German perspective in Das Boot, which is, I think, a pretty accidentally well-rounded one.
Very accidental. So, that's so cool that we chose these very different World War II movies, which is great, and hopefully you guys watch them. I know war movies don't have a great rewatchability to them, or at least I don't think they do, but these movies are worth a watch at least once in your lifetime, all of the ones we've watched. This movie was the most expensive German movie ever made. But it made a ton of money at the box office. At the time, it was the most successful foreign language film at the U.S. box office. So it made a good amount of money. It's... I was surprised how well I liked it. I think I'm glad we watched the director's cut because it really made me connect with the characters. Like, at the end, I even told you, I was like, Werner, I was like, I like that guy. I was like, I'm glad he's not, spoiler alert, not going to die.
Yeah.
Versus everyone else basically did. Yeah. But, I liked all the characters in the movie. which was pretty interesting, especially for a World War, two Americans here with a World War II set German movie, which is crazy. Very interesting.
I think like it does a good job of like it humanizes all of the characters in the boat, but it does a good job of alienating the people outside of the boat that they encounter, a couple times during the movie.
Yeah.
Like the German, like I guess command or like officers that they meet on in Spain, are kind of like pricks and like arrogant, and like it's very much a stark contrast between the crew of the U-boat and those guys, and even to the point of like how slobbish the like U-boat guys are compared to them, and like they're just trying to like get resupplied and get the hell out of there. But like it does it, I think, in a tasteful way considering the perspective and the subject, without being like a pro-Nazi propaganda film, which is like honestly probably the hardest line you could possibly try and walk.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean it does it incredibly well.
Agreed. Let's talk about the U-boat, the titular submarine.
Yeah.
Das Boot. The set design is incredible. The tour through the boat at the beginning, with like the food being hung up and strung up, and just already you get that claustrophobic nature. And it's shot so well. So Steadicams were not really in use during production for this movie, which is crazy because the shots are so
really well.
It's like all handheld too. So I was reading, it's in order to get the fast-tracking shots through the U-boat without a shaky image, Juice Volcano, the cinematographer, created a system of heavy gyroscopes together with his father that kept the camera steady as he ran through the hallways. The set of the U-boat had intentionally been built bigger just to give the cinematographer a little bit more room to work. Even so, he had to look through the camera. So, like, while he's running through these hallways, these galleys, he had to look through the camera. He put on a helmet because he would often hit his head on the set, which is very impressive. He did, like, also, I was very briefly reading this, he did a speech in, like, 2011 saying, like, he could close his eyes and run through the submarine. That's how well he knew it.
Wow.
Which is very impressive.
And like knowing that, I mean, I don't know if they had it built as like one continuous set or not, but like they didn't. It doesn't seem like they did any like cheap, kind of tricks to like get the shots. Like, there's several times where they're filming, particularly in like the officers' galley, where guys ask for permission, to pass. And like they don't do any like cheap things to get that guy through the shot. Like he passes like in front of the camera or like right behind the camera. It's like they're forcing difficult situations of filming, which is really cool.
Yeah. I'm just kind of reading. I read a little bit of it too, but like there were 2 full-size mock-ups made of the Type V11C or VIIC. I'm not a, war-type professional, so I don't know exactly the correct model, but it was built for the film, one for exterior shots and the other for interior shots. But then they also used a ton of models. You could tell when the submarine surfaces, and like the periscope scenes, those are really cool. I love miniature models. Those look so good. I feel like a lot of Hollywood productions don't use miniatures anymore as much.
We talked about that on the new Alien movie.
Yes.
It has a lot of use of models, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially I don't want to say like the technology advancement of model making, but like kind of the technology advancement in model making should like make it completely viable. So yeah, I don't understand why that's been like an abandoned practice. especially, I mean, I know CGI is like super prevalent, but like models just sometimes can look so much better.
Yeah, agree. I mean, think about it. Like the original Star Wars: A New Hope, it's like pretty much all miniatures and models, which is crazy. That's why it looks so good, and it still looks good to this day. I mean, granted, George Lucas has gone through and touched up things, but the full-scale model in this was basically a hollow shell with an engine and can be used in calm waters. So like it was a functioning submarine pretty much, which is super cool. However, when it was being filmed in like the rougher waters and rougher weather, it cracked in two and sank. It was later recovered and patched with wood planks and used for the final shots of the film, which is funny. Also, the miniatures, they'd be filming them in the water, and doves, or doves would actually land on the boats and mess up the shots. It's just hilarious. They're also, the same models were actually used in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which you can kind of see in like the scenes where they're in the like hull or whatever, where like the docking station is for the submarine. It looks very similar to the scene in Raiders where he steals that guy's officer's uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. I mean, in the 3.5-hour runtime, you see the like deterioration of the crew, which I really like, and just the aging of them in a sense. Very not as aged as like Come and See, like when we watch that.
Right. Yeah.
But you see them; their beards are growing; they're getting more and more pale. The cast actually was deliberately kept indoors continually during shooting period in order to look as pale as possible, which is pretty crazy because that's realistic. Like, obviously, they don't see much sun of anything, or the sun at all. And then the scenes were actually, all the scenes were shot in sequence, which is really impressive, especially for the amount of footage shot in the runtime. And they did that because of also the beards, so they could properly grow the beards, and it would be more cohesive, and there wouldn't be any issues.
Just fake it with makeup and
stuff
like that.
I mean, they did in some shots. They'd have to use false hair, but they did it. I mean, they did a great job, and it's cool to see the cast, and like just the shots of them like looking all decrepit is incredible, and like the acting by them is insane, and like the costume design and makeup. Like, how did that not also get nominated for an Oscar?
Yeah,
like that. It's so impressive in this movie.
Yeah, like there were a few times where I was like really impressed with the attention to detail.
Yeah.
Like after every like depth charge attack, or like especially after the first like burst goes off, like the camera and like the set, would shake, and then once everything kind of like restabilizes, like people have like gashes on their heads and like blood, coming off their forehead or whatever, and like it's just really, really good makeup, and I mean, even like the costumes are fantastic.
Yeah, again, I can't believe that those two things didn't get nominated. I like the quiet moments are so cool too. Like when they're just kind of, it's very intense when they're hunkered down after these depth charges and trying not to get basically heard by the fleet above, if you will.
Like the sonar sequences are awesome too. Yeah. That like pinging sound is like so ominous and like, creepy, with like the dead silence like in the ship. It's so well done.
Again, sounded like every aspect of this film is so well done. The movie was actually shot silent because exaggerated camera noise in the submarine interiors. Like the camera was loud, basically. So all the German and English dialogue had to be looped. They looped it on top of it, which is crazy. Like that's crazy. A lot. So the models and like the storms. I love all those sequences when they're kind of like out of the hull of the submarine and the water splashing them. I think that's super cool. They actually, to simulate the storm, a model of the tower was splashed with water from a large tank. And then one of the actors, Jan Fedder, lost his grip on the railing and was washed off the model, breaking a few ribs in the fall. One of the actors instantly shouted, "Man overboard!" Wolfgang Petersen, not realizing it was an accident, enthusiastically yelled, "Good idea, Jan. We'll do that one more time." Petersen kept the scene and rewrote Feder's part so that his character spent most of the movie, or the better part of the movie, in bed. The actor, who had a concussion, was brought back and forth from the hospital every day. The painful expression on his face is real. The scene, which features him bedridden, is on the uncut director's edition, which is hilarious. Like,
yeah,
I didn't, like,
that's crazy.
That actually happened. So pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean it. And so the miniature submarines in these scenes and like the water and stuff, it was steered by a diver from the inside, which is pretty impressive. The diver quit 3 days into shooting after experiencing seasickness for the first time in his 20-plus year career.
Jeez.
Pretty hilarious. Yeah, I mean, this movie is so well done. I did fall asleep a little bit during like one or two scenes where I jolt myself awake, but did you notice that, Jake?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty focused on
yeah,
that
you
movie.
were. I've definitely been more tired than you on this trip. Yeah, I mean, is there any other trivia you came across or anything, or any other particular areas you want to talk about?
The movie was based on a book. I'm gonna butcher the author's name. Lothar Gunther Buchheim. And like he actually gave a review of the movie when it came out in 1981. He said, like, though he was impressed by the technological accuracy of the film's set design and port construction buildings, he felt like Petersen's film was converting his clearly anti-war novel into a blend of cheap, shallow American action flick and contemporary German propaganda newsreel from World War II. So I feel like he completely missed the point of the movie. Because like I think this is not as extreme as Come and See, but this is a pretty anti-war movie. Like especially with the ending, where basically everything is for nothing.
Yeah.
That they go through because they all get blown apart.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it's not it's not like a traditional war movie that we're used to. It's more about the experience of like this group of people in a submarine, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think it really glorifies any experience of being in a war. So
No.
Sometimes I think authors are a little pretentious when their movies get turned into, or their books get turned into movies.
Yeah.
Like Stephen King, I think,
Yeah,
is pretty famous for this.
Yeah.
It's like, be happy that your book is being turned into like one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
Including The Shining.
Yeah.
And this. So,
Yeah.
I don't get it sometimes, but
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's... I lost my train of thought. I like how they humanize the characters, like with pictures from like of their wife or significant other, and like them longing to be back home. I think that really it neutralizes it. It doesn't put it like, this is German, this film is German. It makes it relatable, and it makes the characters relatable, and that's what I like about it. I don't think it's like, oh, let's sympathize that these guys are with the Nazis or anything like that. I don't think that. Like, I didn't think that one time during the movie. The only time,
and like they even make fun of the one guy for being like an ideologue, and like they kind of like give him shit, about being kind of like an obedient dog, to the German high command or whatever, and like, the captain, the first mate, and the second mate are all pretty like grizzled veterans, at this point. So like they kind of understand, that like the top brass are kind of all, full of shit, and they're more interested in like just getting out on the boat and doing their thing. You know. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting character dynamic.
Yeah. I really liked it. I mean, I thought it was excellent. I definitely recommend watching the director's cut. Granted, we haven't seen the theatrical cut or the miniseries, but it's the longest version we could find, and it was pretty damn entertaining. I mean, there's some long versions out there for sure, so definitely check it out. I want to talk about all the war movies we've done this month, and I want to kind of hear your ranking, Jake, of what you liked, what you didn't like, and we'll kind of do a mini review of all of them.
Yeah.
What do you? So which was your favorite of the month?
It's pretty close between this and Come and See.
I would agree.
They're both very, very good. I'd say maybe I think I'd give my top spot to Come and See, just because I feel like we talked about it in the review with Daniel that like that movie has like absolutely zero waste and uses every second of its runtime to communicate its message and goal. Like I obviously the director's cut of Das Boot was edited down, so like I don't think everything in this movie was as essential. So I think that's like my only critique of Das Boot, and I'll give it second place just because of that.
I would agree 100%. Come and See is number one. Shout out to Daniel. And this is number two, Das Boot. And then I would say Big Red 1, and then Empire of the Sun being the last.
Yeah, I think I liked Empire of the Sun better than Big Red 1.
Really?
Yeah. Just a touch, though.
I need to rewatch it, but I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
Just because I was exhausted when I watched it. But yeah, I think Come and See was the best out of our war movies. Definitely the most brutal.
Yeah.
These movies, again, don't have a great amount of rewatchability. As again, I think most war movies don't, but these are good 80s movies that I think you should definitely watch in your lifetime. Big Red 1 might not be as well known of a movie as the other three, so I'd recommend watching that one. Because I definitely didn't know about it until this podcast.
I'd never heard of it.
And Mark Hamill's in it, so. Excuse me. We've got next month. We've got summer blockbusters coming up. So we've got some fun ones in there. We've got Empire Strikes Back. So Star Wars. We're starting off with that, which is great. We're going to do Superman 2. So we're doing a couple sequels. Then we're doing E.T. Then we're doing something very special for our 100th episode. Which is crazy that we're at 100. We're going to do a review on our pretty much favorite movie, Terminator 2. So we're breaking some rules. It's a 90s movie. It's very close to 80s, but it's 91. But we're going to be doing that for next month. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that, because I know war movies can be depressing, and it's not always the best thing to watch. And again, rewatchability isn't high. But we wanted to do this for Memorial Day weekend. And I'm glad we did these movies. I mean, anything else you want to add to that?
No, yeah, I think next month will be a nice break.
My brain hurts.
A little campy, action and fun stuff for summer blockbusters. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm glad we watched every single one of these movies.
Me too.
Even though I was a little. When I found out that Das Boot was 3.5 hours, I was like, oh God, like, what are we getting into here? But I'm thoroughly glad that we watched it.
I mean, yeah, we've had only two super long movies out of the ones we've done, was Once Upon a Time in America and then Das Boot.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad we watched both of those. I've been annoyed with long movies as of late, but those I will let
They're
pass.
at least evidence that long movies can be done correctly.
Yes, 100%. So, Well, Jake, thanks for visiting me here. I really appreciate you coming down to Arizona. It's always a good time having you here, and it's always great seeing you in person. This will conclude our war movie month, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't listened to the episodes, go back and check them out. They're pretty great movies. So we'll catch you next week with some summer blockbusters.
Yep, see you.